So this meeting is called to order. We have apologies from Mrs. Beverly Hunter, who is not well and was unable to attend, as well as Dr. Kofi Nkrumah Young, who was traveling at this time. We have no other apologies. I would like to take this time, we're trying to get through this meeting as quickly and as painlessly as possible, so I will go a little bit quick if you don't mind, because I know it's late. I would like to recognize any first-time members among us and first-time attendees. Do we have any first-time attendees in the room? Welcome. And I hope to see you at more of our meetings. Do we have, and this morning, well, we have another one over there. Great. Welcome again. Another one. Okay, can you all stand? Let's see all the first-time attendees, because you're coming up one at a time. Great, let's give them a round of applause. Oh, wait, look at how, all of a sudden, like the whole room is almost first-time attendees. Now you all need to get to know Mrs. Marjorie Bolero Horton. I know you are members, so, right? Good. We have, where are local chapter chairs? One is at the, I wish to recognize my colleagues at the head table, Miss Dr. Thomas Edwards, who is the chapter chair for Barbados. He will be discussing one of the documents, and Mr. Paul Payton, who is our treasurer. Our other chapter chairs are Mrs. Lucretia Gordon-Bryson. There's Lucretia. And Miss Flores Fraser from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, moving along. The minutes for this afternoon, the confirmation of the minutes from the AGM last year. I hope you all have read it so that we don't have to spend time going over that. Then we will do matters arising, but I will take matters arising together with the President's report. We will have the Treasurer's report. We have one item for approval, and then we will announce the date and venue of the next conference and any other business. Okay? Right. So can we please adopt the agenda? Can someone adopt the agenda? We recognize Dr. Linda Steele adopting the agenda. Can we have someone second it? Okay, Michelle was first. Michelle Bruce. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Confirmation of the minutes. We will go through the minutes now. I will just go through page by page, and if there was an error, please let us know. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. And page 11. Okay. If there are no corrections or omissions, we would ask for someone to please confirm the minutes of the AGM for Thursday, the 12th of July, 2018. Alison Fong, and someone to second it, please. Seconded by Georgia Alexander. Great. We move straight into the President's report. Okay. Okay. Right, good. So I'll start off with my acknowledgements. I'd like to say thank you to several persons for the last year. This report is for the period March 1st, 2018 to, April 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2019. Thanks to the membership for selecting me as president. It has been quite a journey so far. Thanks also, I've said it this morning, but I wish to say it again, to the 18th Annual Conference Local Committee and Mrs. Facey Thompson, our first vice president. Even through health challenges during the year, she has done yeoman duty to bring this conference to where we are today, which is very good. Special thanks also to the executive team. As you know, some of you would know we had elections last year, and one person was unable to stand for re-election. That was our pre-RO, Mrs. Brooms-Julian. And Dr. Steele also did not run again, but she is our first vice president, and because she didn't run, that's how I was nominated into this position. So we welcome Sania Hilton as the newest member to the executive. Welcome, Sania. We also have Ms. Flores Fraser as the chapter chair for Trinidad and Tobago. She took over the role that I previously held. And Dr. Kofi Nkrumah Young was co-opted as the international liaison. So I would like to ask the executive to please stand. Members of the executive. Please give your hard-working executive a round of applause. Thank you. And I know earlier Marvet asked the LOC to stand, but most of them weren't in the room. Those who are here, and it's some of the ones who are also on the executive, please stand and be recognized. Stand, stand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks also to our sponsors. As you know, we have platinum sponsors, Elucian and TouchNet, and other sponsors include the UE, the UTEC, Jamaica, UE Press, Fujitsu. We have some personal sponsors, Casey Ann Reed and Beverly Hunter. Thanks also to you, our members, for your continued support of ACHEA, particularly at the chapter level. We are especially grateful to have you here with us today, and we look forward to your continued commitment and involvement in advancing the vision of ACHEA as a premium ACHE Higher Ed Administrators Association in the Caribbean. Your steadfastness is a significant contribution to the continuous development of professionalism, as we diligently work to promote excellence in higher education, leadership, and management. We move on now to some of the highlights for the year. So the things that I will be discussing are the executive meetings, the 2018 conference, the retreat, strategic plan, and registration of ACHEA. Executive meetings continued on a monthly basis. We met every Wednesday. We met monthly on the third Monday of every month via Zoom. And the meetings were normally chaired by me or the immediate past president or the first vice president. Some of the items that we would have discussed at that meeting included the planning for the conference, well, first with the annual retreat, planning for the conference, publication of the papers from the last conference, and the registration of ACHEA, the strategic plan, and the work to be undertaken by the chapters. The ACHEA 17th Annual Conference was held in Trinidad and Tobago, July 12 to 14, 2018, under the theme Embracing the Future, Creative Approaches to Higher Education. The keynote was given by Dr. Hayden Noel of the University of Illinois. At that meeting, 8 countries were represented, and they were Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Canada, Jamaica, United Kingdom, United States of America, Turks and Caicos, and of course the host country, Trinidad and Tobago. There were 14 private and public institutions represented, and we had 135 delegates. There were 30 papers, which did not include 3 plenary sessions and 1 panel discussion. At the annual retreat, this was hosted by the Jamaica chapter. It's a retreat which included both the executive and the LOC, because usually we talk about the strategic plan and discuss the upcoming conference. Again, hosted by the Jamaica chapter on September 28 and 29, 2018, and it was held at the UE regional headquarters. As I said, some of the items discussed were the strategic plan 2017 to 2020, and then planning of the conference planning. At that retreat, we also did a site visit of some potential venues for the conference, and that's when this venue was selected. The strategic plan. There are 4 main items in our strategic plan, and more information is available on our website. The first one was customer, dealing with the professional certification and member satisfaction. So our membership chair is currently in the process of preparing a member satisfaction survey, which we hope to be sending out shortly. As part of our internal processes, we are dealing with influencing policy in an advisory role, expanding our membership body, and ensuring operational efficiencies of ACHEA. We are currently in the process of developing our membership database and updating our ACHEA website. As part of that, the third item, learning and growth. Learning and growth, which included professional development, influencing at the national and regional higher education policies and advisory role. A lot was done there. ACHEA is represented on the CARICOM Secretariat Working Group on Tertiary Education Sector Governance for the region, and that we are represented by Dr. Kofi and Kuma Young. Dr. Young also produced an article on behalf of ACHEA on the topic, Regulating and Accrediting Higher Education, to the Commonwealth Education Report for 2019. As you would have heard this morning, we are also working very closely with the ACU to strengthen our partnerships, and we also did some hosting of professional development seminars as part of this learning and growth. This was done, one in particular was done by the Jamaica chapter. Fiduciary, which is the fourth item on our strategic objectives, which includes achieving financial viability, fulfilling statutory obligations, and achieving institutional viability. On that note, we are happy to report that we now have both the 2018 and 2019 audited financial statements for ACHEA, which will both be presented shortly after this by our treasurer, Mr. Paul Payton. Registration of ACHEA. As you know, some of you would know, last year, it was agreed by the membership that we will continue with our current registration status as a trade union until we have clear directions to move forward. We have been speaking with our legal team of Dr. Harak Singh, as well as the UE legal unit, and they have advised, or they have recommended, that we should be registered as a company limited by guarantee without a share capital. So initially, we need to file an application for charitable status through the charitable office. So there are two things involved. So right now, we cannot deregister as a trade union without dissolving ACHEA. And because upon dissolving, our current executive members would have to continue to operate as committee members and make decisions in the interim until the registration process is completed. So we're still waiting legal feedback from our team, and once we get that, we will move forward. What we have done so far, we have paid for the name search, and pending that, we will be submitting the documentation to the company's office. There are two main things that the chapters have been involved in, and that is the membership drive. As you know, we need to continue to grow ACHEA, and we need to continue to grow our members. As you would see, most of the room today, the persons have left because they came not as members. And our goal is really to get as many higher ed persons as part of ACHEA as possible. So that will be the attention of our chapters over the next period. Another significant area for us is fundraising, because as we've been hearing, we cannot be depending on sponsorships and financing from our higher education institutions because they themselves don't have the money. So we need to come up with creative ways to fund our association. The work of the PRO team. The PRO has done a lot of work in supporting the conference. Some of the things that were done included the conference flyers, save the date, update of the ACHEA Facebook, and the press releases. There was an interview on Tuesday morning with CVM on Sunrise to speak on leadership and management in the workplace and to promote the conference. ACHEA was represented by Mr. C. William Aiton, Dr. Kofi Young, as well as Ms. Michelle Holness, our PRO. There is also a collaboration with UETV and Mona IT Information Technology Services to host a delayed broadcast of our opening ceremony, which took place this morning. And this would be shown on 17 TV networks. Let's give our PRO a round of applause for the excellent work that is taking place in this area. We also, our past PRO, Mrs. Alicia Brooms-Julian, also produced the ACHEA newsletter, which is on the website, and shortly our newsletter for this year will be available on the website as well. The PRO has also been very much involved. The PR team have been involved in the membership drive for the association. Now, this is the part that I like the best, one of the highlights for this year. It was a little bit stressful, but it's done. I am pleased to announce that 12 papers were submitted from the 17th annual conference held in Trinidad and Tobago. And of those, they were peer-reviewed, and 9 were selected and have been published as a special issue in the Journal of Arts, Science, and Technology, Volume 1, Special Issue 1, July 2019. So JAST is an international multidiscipline peer-reviewed journal published by the University of Technology, Jamaica. It is currently available online, and you will note that these papers were blind peer-reviewed, okay? So this is really, really excellent work that was done. The papers are hosted on various websites. There is a link to the UTech website. I wouldn't tell you to try to take that down. It's pretty long. We will send it to you. But the shorter link is on our own ACHEA homepage. Not homepage, our website under conferences.acheacaribbean.org in our archives. And it is also on the EBSCO host Caribbean database site. So you can access it on campus from all our campuses, but if you need to access it from off-site, you need to speak with your campus librarians, okay? I wish to publicly say I am truly grateful to the JAS team at UTEC, and in particular to the late Mr. Martin Henry of the School of Graduate Studies and Research and Entrepreneurship, who was the lead editorial, who led the editorial board and management team. And under whose stewardship and guidance, I accepted the challenge to be the guest editor of the journal. May his soul rest in peace. We also acknowledge the contributors of the papers, the editorial team, the international advisory body, the publishers, and all others who assisted in this process. And I would like to publicly thank Dr. Paul Ivory and his team who took over the publishing of this paper in midstream when Mr. Martin passed. Thank you so much, Dr. Ivy. Last words. Oh, before I go to the last words, we are hoping to have the papers from this conference also published. So we are going to be working on that very early so that we're not running late to trying to get it done. We did not do a hard copy of our current publication, but we may still do a limited edition. Printing the hard copy was very costly, but we're still looking into that and we're going to come up with what we're going to do for this conference. We hope that this can be ongoing for ACHEA because we have quite a significant amount of good papers from this conference so far, from what I've seen today. In closing, once again, I would like to thank the members, the members, for your contribution over the years and to encourage you to do all that you can to grow our membership by promoting the development of higher education in the region. At this time, I would like to recognize 3 long-standing members who are retiring from their respective organizations, but who have assured me that they will be remaining committed to ACHEA. 2 of them are currently members of the executive team. So one is Mr. William Iton. I don't think he's here. He had to leave. And the other 2 are Mr. Paul Payton, our treasurer, who still has another term in office, another year to complete his term, and Dr. Linda Steele, who also has another year to complete her term. Finally, this year as president helped to reinforce my commitment to God and truly to die to self and putting the team first. And I am completely of the view that teamwork makes the dream work. So I would like to thank, I'm going to break protocol somewhat, and I would like to ask 2 members of the team to please come on stage, and I would like to personally provide them with my sincere thanks and appreciation for their hard-working effort to me over the year. Those 2 persons are Dr. Linda Steele and Mrs. Casey Reed-Martin. Can you please? This morning, when Marvet said that Casey was the ever-ready bunny, I thought she read my report, because that's exactly the way I see Casey. She is so easy to talk to, and she is so efficient. She's on top of everything, and she makes this thing really work. So thank you, Casey. And Dr. Steele, I've said to her, over the years I've looked at her and she makes being the president of ACHEA look so easy and effortless. But she's such a woman of wisdom and strength, very quietly, and grace. Thank you very much. And her fear of God really is the thing. I remember if I call Linda about something, she says, yeah, let's pray about it. And so she puts prayer for everything, and we need to continue to do that. So Linda, I thank you so much. Okay, thank you. I now call on Mr. Paul Payton to do the Treasurer's report.
Good evening, colleagues. I hope you have been enjoying the session so far that have been presented today, and we look forward for your continued support for the other remaining sessions for the next day and a half. I am going to present the accounts for the year 1st of March, 1st of April 2018 to 31st of March 2019. As you know, we had a little bit difficulty in getting our accounts audited the previous year due to unforeseen circumstances. But I'm happy to announce that all of our accounts have been audited and we are up to date in everything. The audited, I don't have a slide, but I just read what I had. The report was sent out by email, so let's hope that everybody got it in time. The audited financial statement below represents operations of the association for the year 2018-19 and 17-18 years. They are presented in United States dollars. The consolidated audited income statements for the year ending March 31st, 2000 show a deficit of US $6,873, which is a 40% decrease when compared to the 2018 amount. The individual income statements would show that Trinidad and Tobago chapter has a gain of US $17,112 compared to a deficit of $627 the year before. The Barbados chapter had a loss of $1,521 compared to a surplus of $2,858 for the 2018 year, and Jamaica chapter had a loss of $22,464 compared to a loss of $5,311 for 2018. We experienced an overall deficit of $6,873 despite an increase in the number of conference participants for the 17th annual conference in Trinidad. This resulted as a prepayment for the year 2018 was again expensed in 2019. The deficit for Jamaica and Barbados occurred as expenses were greater than receipts. The income streams for ACHEA are made up of membership dues and conference fees. Hence the reason why we are stressing the growth of the membership so we can grow our incomes, because we are too dependent on the conferences to make our gains for the year. For the year ending March 31st, 2019, membership dues amounted to just $2,650, and conference income approximately $62,626. Statement of financial position. Property and plant and equipment. The net book value of property, plant, and equipment is nil. This is the case as all property, plant, and equipment are fully depreciated and have not yet been replaced. Cash and cash equivalent. The cash and cash equivalent increased by $1,146 in relative terms when compared to the last year 2019 had US 77,980 compared to 76,793 in 2018. The association was still able to meet its short-term obligations, and as it now stands, we have no long-term obligations. Special remarks. We wish to thank our members for their continued support in paying their membership fees and supporting our conferences. We give special thanks to our main sponsor, Lucian and TouchNet, who have maintained this mutual beneficial arrangement for the last 7 years. The goal for the current year is to further sustain financial viability and to complete the proper registration of ACHEA. I am very proud of the performance of ACHEA team in the year of reasonable stability in the economy. Our thanks to all who helped to make the conference a success despite the challenges that we have had. I thank you very much. That is the presentation for the accounts, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. If there are no questions, may I have a vote accepting the accounts and seconding so we can move on?
Michelle, Holness,
And Thomas.
and Thomas.
Okay. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I look forward to the next conference and the next year where we will hope to have a better conference, if that is possible, and a much larger one. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda, and this is for your approval, is the...
So sorry. I'm sorry, Madam President. I must say that we had some new auditors for the year, which I think they did a wonderful job with the headaches that we gave them. And I would like to recommend that we retain them for another year or so. So I'd like to have a motion carried that we retain the new auditors who are due. Can't even sit up with that. Duo Wigan and Partners. So I'd like to have a motion move that we continue with the new auditors. Alison Crum, seconded by Martin Rivera. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along, we have one item for approval, and that's the guidelines for fundraising by ACHEA chapters. Now, one of the things I said is that we really want to move into more fundraising, but we don't want each chapter to be doing their own thing. So we're trying to have a standardization of how it will be done. Dr. Thomas Edward, who worked on this paper but had the approval of the executive, will present it to you right now.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Okay, let me just push this up a little bit. Okay. I would like to present to you the guidelines for fundraising by chapters of the Association of Caribbean Higher Education Administrators. This document is intended to provide guidelines to the ACHEA membership as it relates to fundraising in the name of the association. Members of the association are expected to abide by the Constitution and use these guidelines for, to clarify issues which may not be, this thing is a little dark out there, okay, which may not be specified by the Constitution. It must be emphasized that the Constitution supersedes any provisions in these guidelines should conflict arise. Definitions. Fundraising is the process of gathering voluntary contributions of money or other resources by requesting donations from individuals, business, charitable foundations, or government agencies. The executive in this paper refers to the executive team of the association as defined in the Constitution. Local chapter committee refers to the executive of the local chapter. Content. The guidelines are captured under the following broad headings. A, the role of the executive and the local executive committee. 2, B, treatment of donors and sponsors. C, integrity of fundraising and fundraisers. D, transparency and accountability. And E, data protection. First one, A, the role of the executive and the local chapter committee. The finance committee of the executive, shall have oversight of all fundraising activities. All fundraising activities must be approved by the executive. Number 3, the executive shall ensure that all donations may only be accepted from legitimate business and sponsors who will not bring into disrepute the image of the association. The executive shall ensure that fundraising activities are legal and shall not in any way compromise the integrity of ACHEA. Number 5, the executive shall have reporting on fundraising as an agenda item, except in the case of special meetings called for special purposes. The local chapter committee shall plan and coordinate fundraising activities and shall have these plans approved by the executive before implementation. Treatment of sponsors and donors. All members of ACHEA involved in fundraising will respect the right and dignity of donors and sponsors and shall not act in a manner to bring into disrepute the name and character of the donor or sponsor. Fundraising activities shall not be unreasonably persistent, intrusive, or place undue pressure on people to donate. Fundraisers shall respect the right of anyone who does not wish to donate or who wishes to discontinue making a donation. No disrespect in any form or fashion shall be shown to any beneficiary of promotional activities. Whenever and wherever possible and appropriate, beneficiaries shall be allowed an input into the promotional strategies of ACHEA. The extent of that input shall be at the discretion of ACHEA and shall be limited to activities relating to the donation. C, integrity of fundraising and fundraisers. Fundraising shall occur in a transparent manner. All members soliciting funds on behalf of ACHEA must be easily identifiable and must carry necessary documentations to validate the request from the association. All fundraisers shall act with integrity and shall not disrespect the association, its needs for funds, or how the funds will be applied. All questions about fundraising activities and fundraising costs shall be answered honestly and in a timely manner. All donation gifts shall be used for the purpose for which they were donated. Information about the purpose of the fundraising effort shall be made freely available and easily accessible. D, transparency and accountability. Within 2 weeks of a fundraising activity, a full report and financial accounts in writing must be submitted to the local chapter committee. It shall be the responsibility of the treasurer to ensure that all funds are properly appropriated, all expenses paid, and all excesses deposited in the relevant accounts. The treasurer shall be responsible for accounting to donors as requested or as required by the executive. ACHEA shall operate in an open, frank, and honest way and will ensure that transactions, operations, information, and communications are easily understood by donors. ACHEA shall clearly identify to the donors, sponsors, and the public the cause for which the fundraising is occurring and how donations will be used. ACHEA shall provide communication channels whereby those interested can easily contact the association. ACHEA shall have a procedure in place to address complaints, and such complaints should be dealt with within a reasonable period of 1 month or within a period reasonable enough to guarantee natural justice. And finally, data protection. The fundraising committee shall be au fait with all laws of the jurisdiction of operation relating to the the fundraising committee shall be au fait with all laws of the jurisdiction of operation relating to the protection, and those rules shall be followed at all times. Of course, you are aware of the Data Protection Act, and of course, any rule that applies, it is the responsibility of the fundraising committee to be au fait with those rules. Thank you. Any questions? Yes? Relating to. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, relating to. The 2 is missing, yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Thomas. We need someone to move that these guidelines be accepted. Georgia, and Flores seconds. Thank you very much. Moving on, the highlight, the date and venue of the next conference. Oh, I don't have the date. It's the same time. I don't even have my phone. Can someone give me the date, please? July, is it 10th? July 10th to 12th? Sorry? Yeah. It will be held in Barbados in July, somewhere around on the Thursday to the Saturday of the second week of July, whatever those dates are. Sorry, I forgot to write it here. Sorry? 9th to the 11th, right? So please begin to make your plans to attend, and our conference chairperson for that, or local organization chair for the conference will be Janet Carew. So Janet is some of you may know Janet from UETV, so she's in the process of getting her team together. Between Janet and the chapter chair, Thomas, they will be planning the retreat, and will let us know when that retreat will take place as we begin planning for that conference, okay? Any other business? Are there any questions or concerns that anyone would like to raise at this time? Yes, Dr. Steele.
Thank you very much. Next year's a leap year, I think. And sometimes when you're planning the dates, I need to consider what else is happening in the Caribbean around the dates we are thinking of. So let's consider what else is happening during the traditional time when we have it, because one of the big things that happens is the Caribbean heads of governments meeting, right. and in the past sometimes that has clashed with our week, and then that created certain accommodation and logistic challenges for us.
Thank you.
Particularly if people from the campuses or institutions have to be involved in any aspect of those meetings.
Thank you so much, Dr. Steele, and we will be looking at that. But that meeting, we normally knew that it took place the first week, but we will check and ensure that what else is happening. Anything else? Okay then, with no other business, I would like to terminate the meeting at this time.